Panel number 4 for you. The topic being discussed is Reimagining Higher Education through the PHYGITAL mode of learning, enhancing entrepreneurship and employability outcomes. And first and foremost, I'd like to invite on stage the session moderator. Please put your hands together to welcome on stage Dr. Prakash S., Senior Vice President, East Point Group of Institutions. A round of applause for him. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Well, I like the energy already. Ladies and gentlemen, also please put your hands together to welcome on stage our rest of the panel speakers, Dr. Kiran, Reddy, founder, AIMS Institute. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And let's keep that applause going. Abhay G, Chebbi, Pro Chancellor, Alliance University. A very warm welcome. Can we keep that applause going, please? Dr. N.R. Bhanumurth, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics University. Let's welcome him with a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. A.M. Surendra Kumar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Presidency University. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Mr. Vivek Iyer, Vice President, India Anthology. A very warm welcome to him as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Sir. Let's keep that applause going. That helps in digestion as well. Did you know that? All right, last but definitely not the least, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kunal Saxena from the Director Marketing, Presidency University. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Kunal. And over to our session moderators, so please.
Yeah, now I think we have reduced it to 30 minutes. Good afternoon. It's always a high time after lunch. Anyway, the time is not for 1 hour for the session. We've been ready for 30 minutes. Be comfortable. Let me start with what is the theme of this. Based on this, we'll start the session. I'll just read the theme. The background of this, I think people post-COVID, this word started to play around on social media. It is called as PHYGITAL. Basically, it's a hybrid mode of learning. The PHYGITAL mode of learning combines both physical and digital learning experiences. This theme explores how Karnataka is leveraging this innovation approach to higher education. It examines the use of technology and take advantage of the digital and AI revolution that has been happening over the last decade. This digital transformation in the education sector will enable and facilitate project-based learning, experiential learning that not only enhance employability, but lead to high-end innovation and entrepreneurships. This fusion of physical and digital learning will enable to build platforms for the best minds to collaborate and innovate. This in turn will build digital ecosystem of the future by blending technology with creativity. This is a theme. Let me start up with this. Before I start up, we have been seeing education 1.2, education to 4.0. Now we all speak about big technology, talent, amazing talent transformation that's happening. But, and people all speak about Ivy League universities. But if you go back to history, India has the best education system. We always call it education 1.0, where completely it was Gurukul play system, very personalized. And people used to go and search for the gurus and get a personalized education. And we have a very good case studies, Nalanda University, or it could be Takshashila. People used to actually do a short-term course to get an admission to these universities. That was the era. And after Education 2 came out, when post-independence, the complete education system, I always tell this, designed to actually create a lot of second division clerks. We were not able to create innovators, entrepreneurships, innovating capabilities, and in spite of having so much of innovative capabilities, so much of innovations came before our history keeps on telling about this. Post-internet, lot of things changed. Today you see Khan Academy, a lot of simplylearn.com, Coursera, edX, all these things have taken shape. Now today, after the industrial revolution of 4.0, the way we deliver the education services has taken a paradigm shift. Student is accessible to all the content today. Then how do I really customize and deliver the education? Now everybody is speaking about, I think I was able to listen to LinkedIn, Jayant, Prakash was speaking about this. 3 dots he was able to connect. One is curriculum personalization, content personalization, and assessment personalization. Anyway, I'll pose one question for this. With this background, let me start up. Let the format go like this. I'll give 3 to 5 minutes to each person to start up with this theme, their opinion on this theme, and then we'll take up the questions. Let me start with the madam. Madam, over to you, madam. Just on the theme, please give your starting note.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash. And we should really appreciate the organizers for choosing this topic, which is a debatable one and which is the need of the hour for all the educational institutions to really consider about and think about and then deliberate what is PHYGITAL. Actually, we needed to interpret PHYGITAL as totally in a different way, where it is an integration of digital learning in a classroom using the various kinds of content and the apps, and which has to be really, device agnostic. And I think we all are in a situation where we really need to look into what kind of a digitalization, and can we do away with the physical classes? I don't think so, but these are all the debatable questions. I think each of the member can unfold these and then come out with the solutions which we can look at. And when we are talking about bringing in entrepreneurship and help the students in becoming entrepreneurs, digitalization with which the students will be able to connect with the counterparts and network with the similar kind of enterprises, I think is possible. In a way, I think we should thank COVID for all of us to really look into what kind of digitalization and how we have to bring in hybrid mode of teaching into the classroom, giving many opportunities for the students, opening up many opportunities, collaborative learning, and then networking, teamworks, and then which again leads to a lot of research, and then put a seat in the minds of the students about what kind of an enterprise they can, because they have an approach which is possible through this digitalization across the world. They can just connect with anybody with whom they want to just have some information, and then where people can be guide them and then share their experiences. I think these things will become easier compared to the past. But how and what the educational institutes should look at, and what kind of a digitalization, and how we blend these two in an appropriate manner, I think is what we all have to look into, and there are many various ways. Now everybody is talking about AI and then analytics. I think we need to map up the aspirations, the learning capabilities of the students, and then we need to help them in carving a career path for them, for which they need to work towards developing the required and the relevant skills. I think these are my points to start with.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Let me go to Dr. Surendra, sir. Over to you, sir. First opinion.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash ji. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed educators and delegates. See, we are here to stand here to discuss about the term PHYGITAL. See, it is actually which Dr. Prakash was saying. It is a combination of physical with digital. Earlier it was using as a marketing term. Now it is slowly come to this educational sector, where it is blending the digital experience with this in a physical mode. So now, if you take an example of that, what is the one best example which you were using as a marketing team? The kiosk which is using in the restaurant or in the restaurant in the airport or something. Now since it has come to the education field, how we can define this in that term? It is in a different way. We are using different platform nowadays in that to make. Earlier, sometimes what happened, it may be in a hybrid mode. During this just post-pandemic, still some universities still we were doing in the hybrid mode, which some people still not, they were reluctant to come to the university for this physical mode. But we were conducting in a hybrid mode. Where this term stands, how to do that? We were conducting this through Microsoft Teams, which even some people can attend the online classes from their home, and some people who are ready to come to the university which can attend regularly. So this term, the PHYGITAL, has come to the education field just after the post-pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let me take the first opinion of Chebbi, sir, please.
I have this mic. What's the question, sir?
No question.
Okay.
General board.
Okay, so starting remarks. Well, I think the word that's coined PHYGITAL, this has become very normal now. People don't really use this term because technology has immersed itself in daily lives and our personal lives, our professional lives. It's like the air that we breathe today. It is very difficult to differentiate a physical infrastructure and a digital infrastructure in its true sense. So what it means to us as educators or people who are there in this environment or ecosystem essentially is that our roles are being redefined. It's getting changed. So gone are those days where a sage on the stage like this will deliver a lecture or teach students who are all there, and it's just a one-way communication. Gone are those days. Today we are referring to professors, faculty, or teachers as, rather than a sage on the stage, they are all becoming guide by the side. Now, why is this happening? This is happening, to give you a context, a professor need not be on the stage delivering what is the meaning of this. People read this. And before the faculty comes into the classroom, he can carefully, in fact, he can be very precise in knowing who has opened the pre-lecture notes, how much have they read, and have they passed the assessment, which is all up to them. So he would know, like, hey, Rakesh is at a level this, and he would have dashboards right in front of his notes at a lectern to know exactly what the student and where he is. So by doing that, a guide by the side is a facilitator rather than someone who dictates. This is because technology has empowered the students, not just the students, the educators as well. This empowering that comes because of technology, I think that's the true revolution that has happened. We have applications, we have hardwares that today can help students in their learning process. What is Education 4.0? Dr. Prakash, you mentioned about 4.0, Education 4.0, Student 4.0. It simply essentially means that the learning environment is getting very adaptive. And adaptability essentially means personalization. Absolutely. Now, your curriculum personalization, your learning personalization, you also happen to mention about Khan Academy. Has anyone seen what Khan Amigo is doing? Khan Amigo is an app not an app, it's an AI tool. Dr. Kiran, you mentioned about it. So Khan Amigo will help every student in a physical environment, and I totally believe what Dr. Kiran was mentioning, that physical education will never go away. You need someone to mold the clay to create great artifacts, but technology will aid and assist you. And go check out what Khan Amigo is doing, because it's fabulous. It is tutoring students based on their level of learning and adaptability. I think that's the revolution that technology is bringing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
That's
thank
what I
you
would
for
like
your
to start
starting
off with.
remarks. Let me go to Dr. N.R. Bhanumurth, sir, Vice Chancellor. So over to you, sir, for your starting remarks.
Thank
Because
you
of
very
30 minutes is the total time, we have set of questions also. We want to have for 2 or 3 minutes for the starting remarks, please.
Yeah, thank you
Over to
so
you,
much.
sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, let me say that I'm slightly odd person out in this panel. I'm coming from the public university, and I'm also odd person for a simple reason that we are the first to implement national education policy in the country.
Amazing.
And we are the first to complete the first year. We are the first to complete the second year also.
Very nice.
The reason why I'm saying is that under the national education policy, I think there's no option for you other than going for the PHYGITAL kind of a platform. And we have been implementing that, the whole NEP in spirit and letter and spirit, and we started using this digital platform in a much bigger way. We started introducing MOOCs as part of our curriculum, and we also started using some of the technology that's already been available. And when it comes to public universities and the digital technology that we are talking about, there is a wide gap. I mean, that's my perspective, because there is some kind of excludability when it comes to digital infrastructure, especially in the education sector. And this is where the Karnataka government is doing extremely well, and where right now, I don't know how many of you know, the student who is studying in public universities in Karnataka, they have free access to Infosys Springboard.
Yes.
18,000 courses.
Courses have been up.
18,000 courses. All the students who are registered in public universities, they have been using it freely. And at the same time, I just wanted to add one more thing, and I'll stop there because I'm talking to a different crowd here. One of the important things that India has done well in the G20 presidency, I would like to link it to the G20 presidency. I hope all of you know that we have made a big claim in terms of digital public infrastructure. Now, I think there is a huge gap when we talk about digital public infrastructure and the education sector infrastructure. I think I still feel, there's a lot of business left in the public sector universities. Please also focus on public sector universities when you talk about scaling up this whole PHYGITAL technology that you are talking about in the education sector.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let us go with Vivek. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank
Starting
you, Dr.
remarks.
Prakash. Yeah, thank you.
We know Vivek comes from a company called as Anthology. People who are very popular know Blackboard as a starting LMS, and all top universities uses Blackboard. From that perspective.
Thank you for that marketing.
No, I'm not marketing.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
No, I don't want the redundant comments again coming from the same points.
No, and
I want you to look from a different perspective. Basically, you play a very important role now.
yeah, no thanks to you. You're sending me fifth. Most of the points are already covered. The only thing I feel bad for him, he's coming after me.
No.
But, Dr. Bhanumurth, he said he's the odd man out. I am not even an educator. Like I said, I had the business for a technology company. So I can bring a perspective, sort of an outside-in perspective. So the term PHYGITAL itself is not new. In fact, education has appropriated the term from other industries. It's been around for about a dozen years in the e-commerce and retail space. And even as a concept, PHYGITAL has been existing in education industry for at least 2 decades. 20 years back when I was in B school, my B school had given laptops, and it was a very rudimentary form of PHYGITAL education, but they could rightfully claim that they were doing some sort of PHYGITAL. Now, what has happened during the pandemic was, before the pandemic, everything, you should liken it to a sort of a pendulum. where before the pandemic, it was almost on the other extreme where everything was almost 100% offline. During the pandemic, people resorted to emergency ERT, emergency response teaching. So it went completely on the other side, which is 100% online. And as COVID started receding, the pendulum started coming somewhere in between. Now, different universities have, that pendulum has stopped at different stages of that continuum. And depending on, the challenges every university has faced, that pendulum has either gravitated towards offline or online. But every university worth its salt will claim that they are doing some sort of digital education. Each of them have different challenges, but they have adopted different kinds of strategies, which I'm sure you will get into as the discussion proceeds. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Over to you, Kunal.
Thank you, sir.
Just starting remarks, but I want to just add up another question so that I can pressed with my time now, because we have set of questions. I want to just ask you at the end so that you answer this question. We'll start with you because you manage the digital space at your university. At the end, after your starting remarks, whether both physical and digital will compete with each other or will complement each other.
Right.
Because now we see that there is a competition among the digital ecospace also. Whether both will compete each other or will complement each other.
Got it. So as my fellow colleague said, good afternoon to all of you. Being the last has two advantages and one disadvantage. The two advantages is what others have spoken, and the disadvantage is you're left with nothing to speak.
That's the reason I asked a question for you now.
Thank you, sir. I was coming to that. But I would really admire each and everybody's opinion here. See, we are looking at reimagining. Actually, it should be re-engineering. We talk about the pendulum thing, what he spoke about for COVID. We are doing stopgap arrangements. Believe you me, all of us as educators have done stopgap arrangement. Classes became online, but the concept remained the same. Students were the same, faculties were the same, but it was more engineering for us than the child. Because today children are much more educated in digital technology than us. Imagine you taking your first Zoom session or a first team session. Ye start kahan se hota hai? Yes or no? How do we log out? How do we log in? How do we get it connected to the internet? System is slow, net is slow. Today we are one step above that, and this phygital thing is actually, I'll reverse it and say it is digify. We have digified education, we have digified shopping, we have digified education, because simply learn kind of a concept or anything like an academy kind of a concept is doing nothing. Education concept still remains the same. And as sir was talking about, whether it will complement or whether it will reflect, believe you me, you cannot have a iconic feature other than a teacher in the class. But the digital name for a teacher in coming days would be an avatar. You need to be a digital avatar, which we are already with the blessings of Apple. We need to have our virtual presence. None of us know each other, but we know each other digitally because we have digified ourselves. Today, if you don't have a WhatsApp account, you're not considered to be part of society. If you're not on Facebook, you don't have a face to show. If you're not have Instagram, you don't have any grams to yourself. So this is how things have changed. Believe you me, I'm telling you in a very funny sense, but LinkedIn coming as a learning partner is the first learning for us that they came up with what? And today they are diversing into what? Today we are looking at reimagining. I think rather we should be much faster in this because physical education will still remain, but the student will become digital.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. One thing is assured that teachers is not getting replaced. Okay. Definitely it is going to supplement. The question as being an education leader is how much is physical, how much is digital component that I need to embed in the complete learning process. That's what. Next, I want to go to Madam. Madam, University UGC has allowed the universities to actually take up around 40% of their total credits onto the MOOC platform. This is a big announcement. When this announcement was made, I was shocked as a leader whether we need to replace the 40% of these teachers. That was a question. But that is not the scenario. That's not the scenario. So how exactly we blend this 40% of the credits of, assume that if it's an engineering course of 160 credits, around 64 credits of 40%, how do I actually blend this in my teaching learning process? How can I bring these MOOC courses into the system? Today morning, LinkedIn was speaking about this. We have a lot of other people who are speaking about this, madam. Over to you, madam, please.
I think as already Mr. Vivek has said that there cannot be a replacement to the teacher. And when it comes to the MOOCs, I think majority of us have been just doing this, maybe as value-added programs or certification courses and all, but how well we just help the students in choosing the right kind of a certification, which again is in line with their career paths and their aspirations. And I think, integration of these certifications can happen when, as we said, that the digitalization, where there is, and through digitalization, where there is scope for the students to have an access to various kinds of content and the knowledge, I think the teaching in the classroom comes down. The number of hours we used to teach a subject to complete a curriculum, I think, is no more relevant. And just we as facilitators, we just, tell them what are the concepts and then give them some assignments and then make them do as a team some assignments and then learn by themselves. And then the rest of the time can be utilized for bringing in MOOCs. And the only thing here is, again, as I said, we need to really mentor the students, guide the students about what kind of MOOCs and which really is in line with their aspirations. I think through the digitalization and then, AI is there to understand and help us what career path and is chosen by the student and what is he capable of, and then what are the certifications we can bring in. I don't think it's a big complicated issue where we will not be able to. It's not a big challenge is what I feel, which at times we have been doing it for the past 7 years. And initially all the faculty members felt that, it's going to be very tough and how are we going to do it and all. But now they have become masters and that's not a big challenge as per my observation goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just I want to bring to the notice of the crowd here. See, NPTEL, Swayam, this is one of the biggest initiative from Government of India. There is a 60 weeks AI specialization. 60 weeks program, somewhere which leads around 4 cores and 4 electives, 4 cores which tells about the fundamentals of AI, and if people want to get into the specializations, if they want to get into deep learning, neural networks or natural language processing, still they can go. If they get it out, straight away I can take these credits, pass on to the students if we clear directly. See the benefits. I can straight away move this into the credit. That's the benefit what we get today. I want to ask to Dr. Surendra sir. Sir, see, when we speak about content personalization, curriculum personalization, and the assessment personalization, why I want to tell you this is that many times talent is different and skill is different. I personally felt in my own career, we never understood what is our talent DNA, and we never imbibed the right skills for that right talent. That was a challenge. And if we as educationists, if are able to actually imbibe the right skills for that right talent DNA, definitely is going to excel in the profession. Now this is what today my complete digital space is going to enable, more specifically with AI. And how do you see that, sir? How can I really see to it that the curriculum is personalized for the students where he can create his own learning path? How the content can be actually customized, because the content, what I understand, the other student may not understand. How can I personalize the content on a different formats? How can I make the assessment personalization? This is something what Education 4.0 is going to enable. When I use the assessment personalization, some students are already fast learners. Why should I give the same set of questions for him again and put him on the same assessment platform? Now AI is going to enable all these things. So your take on this, sir, please.
Thank you. See, this digital education, actually it is enables in personalization, in which you are talking about in curriculum also, and content and in assessment. Actually, by tailoring learning experience to the individual students' needs. What I mean to say that generally when we are talking about this, we are talking about the fast learners and slow learners and other things. The way first you have to identify from the beginning of any semester or whatever the academic year start. Identify that and make sure that this type of that learning which you have to do that. First for the slow learners, how to educate for that in a different way. And now we have, when we are talking about even the assessment part itself, nowadays even our university is already implemented about especially for that Bloom's level, how we can introduce this Bloom's level to take care about this all the level of students. If you take that, if I'm taking the question paper itself, there are some questions which you want to make an attempt for mainly the slow learners, which may be easy questions. When you are talking about the fast learners, which they can do it alone, that so it will create a balance for all the peoples. Not only that, see, when we are talking about again this digital tools can track the students' progress also and adapt and content accordingly and ensure a more customized learning journey. This digital platform itself is identifying this type of activities.
Excellent, sir. Thank you, sir. Absolutely fine. Over to Chebbi, sir. Today it's not just about employability. I think the new mantra from the industry is that I want students, when he come out of the campus, I want him to be deployable on the project on the first day. That means he is billable for me on the first day. I want to take up an example in case Infosys at their Mysore campus spends around 3.5 lakhs, especially for each candidate to actually put them on the project. That's what they do. Then usually they ask me the question, sir, what is that you have done for 4 years? We do it just in 3 months. Because they're employable on the campus, but they're not deployable. Now there is another model actually coming out. The people want to make that as ready to deploy. How do I really empower the kids so that they're ready to deploy directly onto the projects in the campus, into the industry? How this PHYGITAL will enable this? This is a question for you. Sure. RTD, ready to deploy concept.
Sure.
Over to you.
Thank you. Well, it's hard to digest the fact that, the question is how to deploy. Well, we are also resources. As humans, human resource is one area. So yes, we can be deployed and redeployed and enhanced. So that's the beauty. Having said that, a small take on that. But so the question is, how do we prepare students to be able to immediately graduate and deploy on projects? And how does this PHYGITAL environment help them? I suppose the problem here, let's look at the problem. Let's keep the technology component aside. The problem here is how do we it's time up, but can I?
Yeah.
How do we create employable graduates, right? How do we create graduates who have the right set of skills? So I'll be real quick. For a full-rounded graduate, you have to have domain knowledge. You have to have the right set of skills. I think the keyword that's used constantly is skill development, skill building. And the last component is attitude. When you have a perfect mix of all of these things, you can say, hey, this guy can go right into that and start. I can deploy him into, Canada. I'm looking at the country relationship. I can send him to Canada, and then he can right away start developing this for us. But to solve this problem, technology will be a great enabler. Let me put it this way. So you have domain, skill, and then you have attitude. Today, a student, let's say hypothetically, which is also a reality, somewhere in Tanzania, can sit there and take an online education from a university in India, which is recognized, not just in the nation and globally, at the same time keep his work and earn the buck, and also work for a Russian company which doesn't mandate for him to be in Russia to be working, because the environment is such. And at the same time, probably take LinkedIn Learning and stack up his skills. All of this is not hypothetical, it's happening as we speak. So imagine, it all boils down to the person who can develop all these capabilities and be a multitasker. Higher education is on an upscale. There is a great demand and impetus on because we have to ensure that graduates are fully molded. And how can education institutions do that?
Absolutely.
Several ways. One, collaborate with the industry, have co-branded programs. Collaboration need not just be on branding, it can go beyond. They can mentor. With co-branding, you're more sellable. With mentoring, if I am a CXO or if I'm a CMO, I can actually mentor 10 students and tell them what the real world is. So the attitude building is happening. You can also go beyond and say, you're talking about technology. Set up a classroom where you learn language. If somebody is proficient in Russian language, it's very difficult to teach. But if you have an AR, VR enabled immersive classroom, there are applications very cheap. You can walk through the street of Russia trying to buy vegetables and learn the language. Similarly, you can go beyond, far and beyond. You can go beyond by seeing how experiential learning can help students develop that attitude. You can give choice-based credit systems. At a university level, a student can take yoga as one of the class, and he can truly transform himself. So I think I can go on. That's flashing on my eyes.
Yes.
Time up, so I'll end here.
I have another question to another person.
Sure. But you get the drift, right, sir? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sir, this could be the last question, I know. Time is up, and we are pressed with 30 minutes. Actually, our design was for 1 hour. Sir, this is what you, since you come from the economics background, I thought that this should be the right question for you. See, today, PHYGITAL has enabled a platform like Uber. Today, if you see that Uber, which brings all the stakeholders onto it's called as an aggregator. Many times, I think I spoke at different platforms. Can we create something called as educator, where I create a platform like Uber, where all stakeholders of the education sector come on this platform. Today, I think definitely there's a platform which is coming out. So one of the IIT has already experimented to create a platform. What is that? Is that basically I can bring the industry mentors where they can give the projects to the students community and start doing, and high-end innovation can happen up. Since being the economist, how do you see this is going to transform?
It's very high time that you should do that. Otherwise, government will do it.
Otherwise, government will do that.
Yeah,
excellent.
I think, as other speakers also pointed out, see, ultimately, the demand-supply mismatch or the disequilibrium that we talk about is basically depends on the price or the cost. I think the education sector needs to work on that and see that there is a gap is reduced between the demand and supply. I mean, as an economist, I'm just saying to you.
Absolutely. It's going to happen, sir.
Yeah,
it's going to
otherwise, as I told you, I mean, Karnataka has been,
is a front runner
with the private sector for a long time. Karnataka government, you talk about UCMS, it's going to be scaled up. And you talk about, I spoke about the MOOCs, and now we're talking about Anuvadini. In fact, the sector should really look at the translation issues. There's so much of business in the local languages and translation. Now we already got, because you didn't get into it, the government has got it.
Government has already got it.
We brought Anuvadini now.
Anuvadini.
Almost 90% it is accurate, I am told, but 10% is a big number.
A lot of books have been written on.
Still have a space for all those aggregators.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. With the organizers, can I have last question with Vivek? Huh? Is it okay? Last, because it really inclines to him. Vivek, over to you. Can you share any case study for pan-India, Indians who have successfully adopted the PHYGITAL learning models?
Yes, there are several. In fact, we sell our learning management system to probably a dozen universities in India, and all of them without exception, are using it for blended or a phygital mode of learning. Very few of them are, completely online. So each one of them, for example, UPES, they in fact adopt a flipped classroom. I think one of the speakers also spoke about it quite eloquently. They use that very well, where the information dissemination is prior to the classroom through technology, and the classroom is used only for constructive, interactive feedback and so on and so forth. So that's a great example. I heard about the first hybrid learning center, I think Maratha Mangal, some university, I forget the name. That's a fantastic case study again of, digital infrastructure as well as physical infrastructure being designed solely with the intention of blended learning. It's not happened by accident, it's been designed that way. I think that's also fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Mangal Maratha, yeah, that's the one. So there are several examples, but like I said, every one of them has adopted phygital in some form or the other, some very creatively, some in a very mechanical sort of fashion.
Absolutely. It is amazing to all the speakers here, great inputs. Let me summarize, I want to just one shot. Definitely it is not going to replace the teacher. Physical is physical only. It is not going to replace. But one thing is assured, that digital education is not about just delivering the MOOC courses. It's much, much beyond this. People are thinking that when I saw that customized advertisements comes to my YouTube, why can't I really make the customized learning paths for each and every students based on the talent DNA, create an exclusive learning path so that they can fulfill these career aspirations. That's what we can do it today. Thank you so much to all the panel members here. It was a great, nice, amazing team here. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time and valuable inputs for conducting this session ably well. And big thank you going out to all our panelists as well. Requesting Mr. Vivek Iyer, the Vice President, India Anthology, to kindly felicitate our session moderator, Dr. Prakash S., Senior Vice President, East Point Group of Institutions. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Prakash S. Thank you, sir, once again, and really loved your energy. And now, if you could kindly hand over this token of appreciation to Dr. Kiran Reddy, founder, AIMS Institutes. Thank you, ma'am, for your presence and valuable inputs. Applauding Mr. Abhay G. Chebbi, Pro-Chancellor, Alliance University. Thank you very much, Mr. Abhay, for all your valuable inputs and your valuable time as well. Thank you very much. Dr. N.R. Bhanumurth, Vice Chancellor, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University. Thank you, sir, for being here with us. Really appreciate your time and valuable inputs. Let's keep that applause going, ladies and gentlemen. Last but definitely not the least, Dr. A.M. Surendra Kumar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Presidency University. Thank you, Doctor. And also a big thank you going out to Mr. Vivek Iyer as well. Thank you. So let's have a huge round of applause. Thank you, our esteemed panelists. And let's have a group photograph, please. And some nice energy music along with it would help. Thank you.